Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I don't know if we have any of our birthday people in chat, but we have a lot of birthdays today. So
4
Sandy
birthdays that I know of.
and Eduardo
Hmm.
and
Jason for
Metalhead
Valentine.
and Jason and
Jess.
my dad.
Jen.
And
Oh, it's
my
your
dad.
dad's birthday?
Oh, really?
Also my dad's birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Dan Foreman, is his name?
Yeah. Dan Foreman. I don't know. Sometimes my parents watch this stream.
Oh, really?
Oh,
They do. So happy birthday,
Well,
Dad, if you're watching.
happy birthday.
watching YouTube on your birthday. That's cool.
I know.
You choose to do that.
I
Yep.
mean, they're watching just for Myrtle. I mean, you know.
Could be.
So, but
I mean, I am the most professional person on this stream.
I know.
Well, you are snazzily dressed and you have a moving background now because you got OBS working.
Yeah, it took me like 3 hours, but it worked. Multiple
Got it
restarts
going.
and yeah.
Well, good job because it's you have a Mac, so like I wasn't sure about how to get everything working specifically for the Mac, and you said
Yeah.
apparently it was you had to download a beta.
Yeah,
version.
the only reason it didn't work is because I have the newer version of macOS software. And apparently the public version of OBS, the one that's released currently, does not work. It doesn't support the new Mac Ventura. So I had to download a beta version. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
And there you go, moving tank.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great. I mean, and Steven, your background looks great. And what the hell happened to mine?
You
Only
did
two people can
maintenance.
have two good backgrounds at the same time.
What
Well,
the hell happened? It's horrible.
you're
one
doing the right
behind me
things
was
by
pretty
maintaining
good.
it, and I don't do a whole lot of that, and so that's I tend to lose things like delicate stem plants because I don't maintain them. I let them get leggy, and then I let things like gigantic swords overgrow and shade them out, and then they disappear.
Well, that happened also to mine. I had gigantic swords get out of control and crypts get out of control, and they had to go. You can't do it all at once because I couldn't see.
Yeah, once you start pulling out enough plants, the thing turns into chocolate milk. Yeah.
Even with
I mean,
3,
uprooting a sword alone, a sword that's been in there for that long.
Yep.
I did 3 90% water changes, and it's still cloudy. So, and there's still a few crypts left. So, but I think most of the stuff I want to get rid of is gone. I'm keeping the Crinum calamistratum, which is pretty much everything you see on the left side. It's really hard to point a camera.
And yeah, keeping it
That mask
there, not moving it at all.
Crinum calamistratum. Pretty much. I mean, there's some Anubias there and junk, but
What's that floating at the top?
that's my whole mat of Marsilea, which I will keep. So, but since I was ripping out crypts, like it all had to get ripped out too. I am keeping one sword. I'm keeping my Haidai Pearl because it's a very modest sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's very small. I'm keeping my Anubias. And I'm keeping some smaller, more modest crypts. I might get some other modest crypts, but I'm done with Spiralis and Balancy. There's probably still some left in there. They're really hard to get rid of. But
you probably got all the big ones out, but like any small shoots that are coming
out. I mean, it's just impossible to get rid of them. So, but I tried.
I still like him. I'm still at the stage where I'm okay with him existing.
Yeah. No,
especially
and I like
the tank behind me, like it's in the back right corner, but then you can see there's one that's sprung up right up front.
Oh, the little line in
yeah, like
right.
Yeah, and I just got tired of like every time I would go to pull them, like they would yank up my foreground, and I do really want more open swimming space. The Crinum has gotten bigger. It's going to occupy an entire side of that tank. That's fine. I want to let it. And then I want the right side to be really, really open with just mostly foreground to offer more swimming space for the rainbows because they appreciate that.
Yeah, I try to keep at least the front half of my tank clear for them to go back and
Right.
forth,
Yeah,
but
and I
I
cleared
don't
out a lot
always
of
do that.
space
I
on
don't
this
always maintain
one
it.
too. I cleared out a lot
Uh,
of space on this one too, and I'm really happy with it. It's growing in really nice, and
yeah.
the rainbows are more happy, so they like swimming space.
So whenever you were taking the giant swords out, did you notice that you've lost anything? Like, did you lose a particular plant, or did it like start doing really bad because the sword
Yeah,
was just shading it out?
I mean, I have no clue where all the homolamina I planted is. I guess I see some of it. More than anything, I just found plants I forgot I had.
Mm,
That
Um,
happens too. I've done that where I forgot that I, yeah.
yeah, so and I sent pictures of it to you. I found an Apanagitan bulb that's sprouting that has been dormant for years.
interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know if I might keep that just to see if it'll.
Well, it'll grow. I've seen the
Yeah, I
sprouts, so it'll
mean,
definitely grow. Yeah.
yeah, and then if I get sick of it, I'll pull it because it's easy enough to pull that.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but
Or at least just pull all the leaves out of the bulb and let the bulb stay in there for
let it
like
go
7 years.
dormant again for another 3 years.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so I mean, there were mostly things that I didn't even know I had this huge, massive Java fern here.
We can go into the other tank right next to you because you're looking for some ferns to fill up.
Well, no, I have plenty of Java ferns here. I got rid of most of those. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't even know I had any Java fern left in this tank, and there's an enormous piece of it. So, it was just so crowded. I hadn't seen those Anubias in forever. So,
I have
yeah,
Java Fern in like every tank because I've broken the rhizome into little fragments, and so it's in non CO2 and CO2 tanks. Just
yeah, and
I like it. I
I like
never not want to have it.
yeah, I like Java fern too. It's always attractive. It always looks
Hmm.
pretty good. It's easy enough to control. I mean, so I mean, I don't mind that. But
I keep some on hand too. I just never let it grow to a point where you can see it. So I always have some in the corner over here in the back, like in the very back where no one can see it. I just have like at least 2 leaves of it growing at a time.
Yeah,
So,
that's one that you can tuck back in
mhm.
yeah,
anywhere in a tank, and it'll be fine.
yeah,
That and Anubias and stuff, like you don't have to worry about it being snuffed out by
yeah,
giant swords that overpower, overcrowd everything.
yeah.
Um,
So, anyways, I mean, it's probably going to take, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 more weeks to get it back into shape. I mean, because it kicks up so much dust. But I may add a little more substrate, and I have to level out the substrate that's there, and I don't know. We'll see. So Ryan, PMW Aqua, says he pulled his cranum calamus to see if the bulb had split, and it was over 5 feet long. I'm not shocked. It's an
Jeez.
enormous plant. Mine, it's this big around.
The like
The
the
bulb,
bulb
yeah.
is still attached to a bulb, or is it
It
that
always
it
is. The
detached?
crinum
Kind of like a
always
bunch of
has. It's not
celery.
a bulb. It's like I don't know what you'd call like
It's like
an
a
onion.
bunch
It's
of
like an onion
celery.
or a celery. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
have you, or it's the bulb kind of looks like, have you ever had fennel?
Oh yeah, fennel. That's
Yeah,
precisely what it looks
it's
like.
like
Yeah, just a
fennel.
little
I
bit
mean, I've
more,
had fennel. I don't know if I've
yeah,
ever dealt with
cylindrical.
the plant, the whole plant, but I
Yeah,
can
if you've ever
visualize.
gotten fennel from the grocery store, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, just
But
a
the
little bit more
whole mass
cylindrical.
of it is like it's bigger than a bunch of celery. It's
Hmm.
huge, and it has a big flower stalk on it. I have had it flower before, but yeah, I really like that plant. I want that plant to just take over. So
Has it made pups? I mean, in the past, I know you said it made pups.
it's
Have you
hard.
extracted any, or have they
It's
all
hard
just
to
fused together? Because I've
see.
seen that happen where they just fuse
Yeah,
together.
it probably does have pups. It's hard to see where it is because it's planted behind some rocks. But I
Hmm.
may be taking those rocks out. So I haven't
Yeah, give the
really
crinum room to
decided.
breathe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't really decided what I want to do. I might I have a lot of dragon stone. I have some big pieces of it. I might take the rocks that are there and put some big pieces of rock dragon stone in. I really like the way those look.
Yeah, I do
And
like Dragonstone
I
too.
really like how they're easy to stick like Anubias and other epiphytes in them.
Because they got holes
Yeah,
that
and I
are
also
generally full of clay powder, but once you
well,
rinse that
these
crap
are
out,
really clean because these are the rocks that we got from Aquashella that Jake and I scrubbed at the car wash.
oh yeah, you brought to the
They're
car wash.
very clean. They're
That's good.
very clean. I like how they don't change your KH either, which is really nice. So yeah. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I just know that it's going to have a lot more open space. I have an entire floating wad of Marsilea. I am keeping that. I really like that foreground.
That's going to be fun to plant again.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
45 minutes at least of just one plant.
I plant mine so lazily. I will just take a
I'm
bunch
doing
of it,
trunks.
kind of roll it up into like a bouquet,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then just
Not
shove it
here.
down
It's
in the
like
substrate.
it's like
Just
90% is still underneath the substrate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's probably what I'll do.
spread out.
So, I have so much of it. I'm not planting it one little plantlet at a time. I have a whole wad of it.
You know who would do that though? Brookley. Brookley would do it one.
Good. And if Brookley were
She would make it
here,
look perfect. Yeah.
if Brookley were here, I'd have her help me. But Brookley's not here.
She's not even at
Oh.
home. She is dealing with having guests 2 weeks.
I told her change the locks. Later can't get back in, but she has to listen.
I would be so stressed out having guests for that long.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
Just change the locks and don't let them back in.
I mean, wasn't it Benjamin Franklin said that fish and guests stink after 3 days? Wasn't it something like that? So it's like 3 days is enough.
Unless you keep them on ice, which if they're bad guests, you might want to put them in ice.
Put them in your fridge.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, you still haven't made it back home, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, hang in there. I know it's not easy having in-laws over.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that's not fun. So, but you're being a good daughter-in-law. It's good.
Are they in-laws? I don't even remember like what guests they were.
I thought she was having her in-laws, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't know. I mean, I had in-laws. They lived with us for 10 months after our house flooded in 2016 because like everybody flooded, including theirs.
Oh, wow.
They were, they had to wait for a contractor to finish their house.
Yeah.
Whereas because they had insurance, we didn't have insurance. We used FEMA emergency funds, put our house back together. It took us like 3 months. It took them almost a year.
I bet there was a real shortage of contractors too, because everybody's house was wrecked.
A shortage of reputable ones for sure. There were tons of them that just like popped up like, ooh, I could be a contractor since, everybody's house is in shambles. Let's go capitalize on that.
That's really difficult. But I mean, you got to take care of your family during extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, Berkeley said in-laws and a friend, his wife, their 2-year-old and 2-month-old. Oh, that's why she said she needed to go. She needed to also baby-proof her CO2.
Yeah.
Whew, that's a lot. Well, that's a lot, Berkeley. Your house isn't that big. That's a lot.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So Coralwork says, I thought fennel grew dried in jars. Well, it doesn't grow dried in jars. The spice is the seed. The fennel seeds. But you can go to the grocery store and you can buy bulbs of fennel and it's got like long green fronds coming out of it. And then you can eat the fronds.
But the bulb is really what you want.
Usually, usually you're eating the bulb and you can either like shave it thin and put it in a salad, or you can
cook it like you would onions.
Yeah, you can like braise it with, it's good in spaghetti. Good in
if you asked me to draw fennel, I couldn't tell you what it looks like.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the most common vegetable, but I really like it.
If you take like a green onion, take the bulb, expand it a lot, and then instead of straight up green leaves, just draw
it has very
or something.
Feathery. Yeah. It has very delicate.
Draw the knophila on top of the
it has very
the bulb. Yeah,
very delicate feathery foliage.
Will it
mean, it's not super common, but they have in the grocery store.
It's just, we wouldn't want to do that. because
Yeah.
it gets invasive. It goes quite fast.
Oh,
I like it though. I like to eat it. It's good. So, to have Jenna buy some fennel.
I'm
See if
sure
you
she
like it.
has. I just don't know. Like I've not seen. Maybe I have seen it. It's not
Yeah.
going to register with me as a thing. Like, oh, look, it's another green thing that's in the refrigerator that Jenna will cook with eventually.
I mean, because you're like Jake, and this is a good trait, man. You eat what's put in front of you.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate that. It makes life easy.
that is how I grew up. I mean, I have 4 brothers. We grew up in not that wealthy of a household with a lot of boys in the house. There was no time or budget for just like having a special menu for picky eaters. It was
Yeah.
you ate what you got
And you finish your
or
plate.
not eat.
Yeah.
That's also an option.
I mean, I think I am a little picky. I mean, part of it is I have a lot of food allergies, but that's why I learned to cook. Because it's like,
Uh-huh.
well, if you want to control the menu, you should cook. It just makes it easier.
So,
He has a question or
let's
comment
see.
rather.
I'm normally a patient lady. That being said, I just tried using fluval stratum for the first time. It's so dusty. If it was a time period, it would fit in the 1920s Dust Bowl era.
There's a trick to doing stratum. Like there's a process you have to do. You make sure your tank is not filled. I mean, you can do it filled. It'll just take a while to settle. Drain your
Yeah.
tank down. Don't keep it dry. Drain it down so there's a little bit of water left. Add the stratum. Fill water up to the very top of the stratum and let it wait for like a couple minutes. Just like let all the dust settle. Once you've done that, put a bag on top and fill the tank up. It's going to be crystal clear. Just don't let the hose touch the stratum.
Yeah.
Or the flow touch the stratum before you let it up.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, letting all the shit settle before doing the fill. I don't do that. Like I've not done that.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. I noticed that I do it because I don't mind waiting for the dust to settle. I just submerge the stratum in with cups and just submerge it and then pour it into the tank while it's still full.
I plant with mine almost dry. So George Farmer, he plants his stratum completely dry.
I can't plant plants dry. I have to have a full tank to plant.
Yeah, stratum. I get it just fairly or a little bit damp. That's it. And then I add water after it's all planted. I put plastic on and I add the water so slowly. And
I
then
just deal with the hurricane of crap and just put filter media in and just wait.
I just do it really slowly. I don't want to uproot my plants. I just planted. So that's why I fill it really, really slowly. And then I do a water change every single day the first week, every other day the second week, every third day the third week, and then twice a week the fourth week, and then once a week from there on after. And I think that really helps too.
And
that is a really good practice.
The amount of water is at least 50% for all those water changes.
Yeah.
It is good practice, and I can say that I have never once done that.
Yeah.
I try, but
I don't have
as many tanks
as you. I don't have as many tanks as you. I get that. But
what about dill?
Dill and fennel are in the same family. I think you could do. I don't know. I think it's worth trying.
I know fennel will pond for sure because I've had like the roots of fennel in aquaponic systems. So
I think it's worth a shot. Dill is, I think it can take moisture soil, so it's worth a shot. And swallowtail butterflies, the caterpillars like to eat it. So you would be giving an important food plant to butterflies for their
Is that a thing that we have down here in the South?
You have at least some species of swallowtail, I think.
I don't know. I mean I see butterfly and I
don't know. I mean, I don't know your butterflies as much down there. I don't
know
them as much. But there's there's black swallowtails, there's eastern swallowtails, there's a couple different ones, and they all like any plant in the carrot family, and they really love dill. So
What about ginger?
ginger is not in the carrot family. It is in the ginger family, and it
But
does
will it
great in a
pond?
pond. It does
Yeah.
great in a pond. Yeah, it does great in a pond, and I have grown it in a pond before. It
Cool.
loves wet feet. So will turmeric.
Yep, they're the same.
Yeah,
almost
which
the
is a
same family.
ginger. Yeah, and it has
Nice.
really pretty flowers.
Yeah, you can find them in garden stores at that
Yeah,
time.
it's really pretty flowers. So yeah, you can grow turmeric like that too.
Did I just
Coro
say
says
garden
it's
store?
Zinger's birthday.
Happy birthday, Zenny! Is
Happy
she in
birthday,
chat?
Zenny.
Did I miss
Yeah,
her?
she just came in a few minutes ago. Yep,
Oh,
it's
happy
Zen's birthday.
birthday!
It's
And
Lady
Lady
Metalhead's
Metalhead and
birthday. It's
Eduardo
Eduardo and Jason from
Jenna made
Primetime
sense. Sad
and
on my
my
birthday.
dad and
Yeah.
my dad.
and Dan Foreman.
That's right. Happy birthday, everyone. I hope you have a
I
good
don't
day.
I don't intend to like do the math on it, but I feel like November is a very busy birthday month for Fishfam.
So a lot of Fishfam's parents were getting it on in February. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, including Jenna's.
Yep.
I guess so. Berkeley says she is ginger and turmeric for your pond, Stephen. I think it's better to, if you're planting it from the root, I think it's better to plant that in the spring, whenever your spring is. But yeah, you can just plant the roots. So it's really really easy to propagate too. Which if you ever want to grow your own ginger root, you pretty much just need a pot and some dirt, and like you don't need full sun. Like it doesn't want baking sun. Like lower light is
It needs
fine.
gentle sun, but
And
a
it
lot of
takes
water. It's one
it
of those
takes
water intensive.
yeah, and it takes from
Cool.
spring through fall to produce your crop. So, but it's
That makes
fun to
sense. That's
grow.
when because Berkeley just harvested a crap ton of ginger.
Yeah. So if you want to grow some, replant it in the I don't know when your spring starts, like March. Is that a good time?
Yeah, I mean sometimes into February, but March for sure is when we're definitely out of the frost woods.
Yeah. So March you could plant it. It's fun to grow.
So Rosie says, "Hello, I have a small container pond, about 20 gallons. How should I maintain it? Because all my rice fish died. I would change the water, and I had plants in there."
Yeah. So I don't know where you live, Rosie. It depends a little bit. Do you know what grow zone you're in? Your USDA grow zone, or you can just tell us kind of the region you're in, and we can help you. Because if you're in a place where it frosts and it's
20
cold
gallons
out,
is quite small.
where I
and
live,
it
I
might-
would just
yeah.
take it. I would just take it apart right now, and I
Or
would just
it's 20 gallons. I would bring it inside if you can. Just move it inside the house.
I mean, if there's no fish left, though, I might let the plants take them in for dormancy and just start again.
Yeah, I was talking about when she has a pond going back again, and then the next season when it gets cold, like when it gets cold
I
again,
know
you start
that
bringing it
for
in.
my smaller pond, I just took that one down. And the fish that were in there, I put in other ponds, and it's just it's just too much for it to freeze solid. I don't have a place for it indoors. Although I don't really want it indoors because the cats, they're just gonna drink out of it the whole time and drive me nuts.
So what happened, Rosie, to the rice fish? Did they
die of cold?
not
Did they get sick?
overwinter, or like?
Yeah.
Also, what type of plants did you have in there? Were they all submerged plants, or was there stuff growing outside,
Yeah.
like above the water?
And I don't think you'll be able to overwinter rice fish outside in a 20-gallon pond. I think it's kind of
It might freeze every night if it gets below
Yeah,
freezing.
you want something a lot deeper than that. But I live in Indiana, which is grow zone 6A. It does frost here. It does get cold. We can have very cold winters. We can have very, very cold winters, and my rice fish do survive the winter as long as there's a hole in the ice. But in a 20-gallon pond, I don't think so. Okay, you're in Central Florida. All right.
Oh,
So
okay.
She has not even. There is no frost down
you
there.
can keep that up. Yeah, so you can keep that up year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that you
Now you have
can.
to look into something else for the rice fish. Are they? Do
Yeah,
you see them all die, or did something
I
eat them?
would
That
get
could
some
very be.
fish in there because,
Yeah.
like mosquitoes, I would get something in there, either fish or frogs, because of you don't want to contribute to the mosquito population. I would remove any detritus from it.
Test
Uh,
the water, see if something happened.
give it
I
a
would also see if
yeah.
anything was eating a rice fish, because if you
It's
saw like
true. It could be
they can eat
critters.
everything in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have
Mm.
raccoons. I don't know. You guys have a lot of wildlife down there
Yep.
that we don't have up here. But yeah, you can keep that up year round. So Nancy says that her 20-gallon is frozen over twice, and the Medaka is still doing well. Yeah, they are super hardy, and my pond did freeze over a couple times entirely. But in general, they can
You
go
say
a little
freeze over, you
while.
mean like surface layer of ice,
Yeah.
not
Not
like
the whole thing turned into a
yeah.
block of ice. No, not that.
Yeah,
Nothing
and they
surface.
can go a little while like that, but eventually, like, they'll get anoxic, and
Mhm.
so they need some hole for gas exchange. Um, I don't know, just for a 20-gallon, like, I like to take those ponds down. I think they're a little because it gets also it's not quite as cold in Tennessee than it is in Indiana. So anyway, so Rosie says she had some lilies. She threw some floaters in there and a sweet potato plant. Those are good plants.
They grow
Um,
like mad. The
Yep. The water
yeah,
should be
sweet
I
pretty
potato.
clean. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder if critters got your
Yeah.
fish.
And not just like animals and stuff. Maybe she has dragonfly larvae and they
Yeah,
pretended
like
like
Cora
yeah.
said.
Yeah, it could be. They just died one by one and they were from Dan's. Oh, I'm so
Hmm.
sorry.
That
That's
makes
really
you think they
hard.
got sick. Yeah, that makes you think they got sick if they're dying one by one.
Well, unless a cat's coming on
Oh,
subsequent nights
yeah.
and stealing them one at a time.
If you aren't seeing bodies and something's eating it, if you're seeing bodies and they're dying,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
I
probably
mean,
sick.
it's just really
Oof.
hard to know. Um, yeah, it's just really hard to know. And I mean, I have rice fish in all my ponds but one. And I mean, I have a really huge cat population. I don't know that the cats are going for them, or if I just have so many rice fish, it doesn't matter.
You haven't witnessed it yet, at
Um,
least.
yeah, I haven't seen any cats fall in, which would be really funny.
So I haven't seen my guppies that I put out in the pond
Yeah.
since it was that week of Halloween when it actually got in the 30s here. Now I'm looking.
Oh yeah,
Right now the pond is at 71 degrees, which is great, but
that's
I
great.
don't know if the guppies are in there or not. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you had a huge volume of water and it didn't stay that cold for long. So
Yeah.
maybe they could
They-
just go deep and be okay. I don't know. Guppies are kind of hardy.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say, Rosie. I would test your water and see if anything looks off, but it's hard to know. My guess is predators. If I had to pick anything, especially with a 20-gallon, it's low. Raccoons can come steal them, or
A good way to tell is if there's physical damage on the plants. If you see, like,
yeah,
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean,
the
I have,
lily pads are
I
looking
have
like
had,
they've been stepped
yeah.
on or something. Yeah.
I mean, the cats have knocked over a lot of my plants. It's
Just
really annoying.
because
God damn
cat's
it,
gonna
cat!
cat.
This cat.
Rosie wants to know if you do water changes on your ponds.
No. I top off. I do about one big water change a season. I mean, the 20-gallon, the little ones I take down, but the bigger ones, so the ones that are, let's say, 75 gallons or bigger,
Right.
no, I'll do one big a season at the beginning of the season. I have done accidental water changes because a pump got knocked out of place by a stupid cat and then the water drained out of it, and so I changed it. Yeah. So and
Coro
before
asks, why don't you use spicy guppies? I have no idea what those are.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
am
yeah,
not
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
do have
they
spicy
are they
guppies
are
in a
probably
separate.
hardy
They're in
and
a
they
separate
are
tub outside
everywhere.
though, and they actually did survive last winter. They've been gone for over a year, but yeah, they're in like that muck tub that just has a bunch of water lettuce and no water changes, no feeding, no water movement at all.
Yeah, so you could try gambusia. They're pretty hard to
Yeah.
kill, but they can be killed if there's a raccoon that likes to eat them, just like
Yeah.
anything. I
Or
mean,
if there is dragonfly nymph in there,
yeah,
like
it's just really hard to know, but I might drain it and see if you see anything in there. Because you can always put the plants back in.
yeah, maybe test for ammonia if you use any kind of like pond tabs or like
Yeah.
what's it called, the Osmocote that's like
Yeah.
labeled as pond tabs sometimes might have too much
Mhm.
ammonia in there.
Yeah, it's worth, or if something's rotting, it's
Mhm.
worth testing. Huh. June says, Kelly, you've been robbed. What happened to the tank behind you? I'm in the middle of a big rescape. It's a process, June. It's a process.
Yeah. This is the
Can't,
best my tank's looked in a while, and this is months old footage. Right now, my tank looks sad. It looks like like the Kelly's 180.
this one is
It-
really bad.
yeah.
This one is looking really good. It's growing in. It's doing what I want it to do. This one, it's going to take a couple weeks to get it back together, but it's a process. You can't do it
I
all
let
once.
things, yeah, I let things overgrow, and then I haven't been home in another 4 weeks, so the tank is overgrown once again. So everything in the front is either covered in staghorn algae or it just died. Like all the Marseillais is gone. I'm pretty sure all of it's gone. I have no
Yeah.
hair guts left.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I do the same. I let things really overgrow. That's how I end up losing some delicate stem plants.
Yep.
But
Not
at
by
this
choice.
point,
I just
I'm
haven't been
like,
able to get home yet because
yeah,
of school.
Yeah.
So
I don't
Yeah.
like plants that require me to keep such a close eye on them that they're like they can't like live a couple of months not getting everything they need. Like
Yeah. I mean, if I have a plant that I'm trying to keep track of, I keep it front and center. So
Mhm.
right now I
Mhm.
have a, what is it, Xeris? That
Oh, you
plant
have some of that?
X.
Oh.
I do. I got it at the Clash. And so I
Oh, well,
have
you
it
did say
front.
that, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, I just said you're right. I remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on it. And like when you gave me your feather duster, I kept
Mhm.
it in the front so I could keep an eye on it.
yeah, that upon eating with the Robinsoni.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
how's
have
that
that
doing?
front and center.
Is it,
It's doing fine.
awesome.
I moved it to the plant farm just because that's a more stable tank, and I can keep a better eye on it. So
Yeah.
it's doing pretty good. So Larry D said, "Been lurking. What is spicy gambusia?" Then Oinky said, "What's spicy guppy?" So yeah, spicy guppy apparently is a gambusia, the
I
mosquito
did not
fish.
know this.
And it
I've
makes sense because they're
never
more ambitious guppies. They like to eat
I've
them.
Yeah,
never
you
heard
can't
this
mix them with
before.
regular guppies
I mean,
because they'll.
Larry D is he's very interested in all things spicy, so that makes sense. So Rosie says, I do have to say that the water smelled bad. So that tells me it probably has ammonia in it.
Mhm.
So clean it out
Yeah.
and start
And
over.
put your
Make
hand and
sure
see if there's
you,
anything squishy and like disgusting in there.
yeah,
Maybe a
make
dead
sure
animal,
you,
maybe a rotting plant, something fell from the sky.
make sure you let
Kid
it
threw food in
cycle
there, you
before
never know.
you add more fish. But if it's stinky, that's ammonia.
Hmm.
So sorry about that. That's really hard.
Yeah, ponds are kind of unpredictable because nature
Can be.
outside
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
has
outside,
good in it.
things can fall in. So yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
and also where you live, it gets really hot in Central Florida and where Steven lives. And a 20-gallon pond can get really, really hot unless it's in the shade. Bigger ponds, they have a thermocline. So it's several degrees cooler at the bottom of the pond. So the fish can swim to the bottom and they can be protected. But in a 20-gallon pond, there's no cooler areas and it can get really, really hot.
Yeah.
So it's just something to keep in mind. Make sure you have it in the shade. You might even consider burying it in the ground or getting a bigger pond because it does get really hot where you live and it stays hot for a really, really long time. And rice fish are hardy. There's limits.
But they don't. There's limits. Yeah.
Yeah, there's limits. So
Yeah, and I wonder how much they can take the temperature changes, especially like around this time. there will be literally in the same day, it could be 40 and then it could be 80.
I think
And
they're much more hardy than other fish are, I would say. Um, but just days and days on end of being that hot is what I would be concerned about, because
yeah,
where you live is really, really hot. And I have mine with no shade at all, except for floating plants. But we had a couple, we didn't even get to 100 degrees this summer. We had a couple days that hit 95, but we're usually in the high 80s. And with a pump and floating plants, it's fine. It's just not as hot here. So
it's just too damn hot
yeah.
down south.
So June says, I moved a bunch of plants to my 300-gallon. Half of them are from Stephen P. I love it. Hope the fish feel the same. They go in after the live. Well, that's exciting. Is this with your Oscars?
Yeah, I mean, what I send her a lot of valves, especially that
Oh, yeah,
giant valve. I don't know if I've sent her bulbitis yet, but that might be another one that
Oh,
would
that's
do
a good
well.
one.
It has thick leaves. The Oscar shouldn't tear it
Yeah,
up too
because
much.
you can always glue it to something to get it started.
And even if the Oscars decide they just want to drag it around the tank all day, it'll still
It's
be
really
fine.
tough. It's really tough. Yeah, that is a good choice. Zenny says I might rip out everything of the CO2 tank and do like a 90% water change. I've been feeding later and the lights have been on over 12 hours a day. And in 2 weeks, hair algae is taking over.
Well,
Yeah,
there's your first problem. Lights have been on for over 12 hours a day. Cut that down to like
Zenny,
9 or 10 at most.
I'm a night owl too. My lights don't come on until noon. They're on from noon to 10.
Yeah, my lights turn on after the clocks have turned on, like
Oh yeah,
recycled
that's
up.
true. Everybody's.
They turn on at 3, and then they turn off at 12, midnight, I think. I want to say. Yeah.
Because like I don't really feel like looking at my fish in the morning anyways.
So yeah,
Do
and
anything in the morning.
I have the long photo period, but I also have the programmable fluvels. So like I can have them come on at like 6 or 7 a.m., but like stay at 5% for the next several hours, and then a really quick ramp up to full strength. I think if I remember correctly, Zinger has a prism.
Yeah, she has one of the Nylock lights.
Yeah.
Straight timer.
Yeah, whatever setting she's got it at.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why Annette wanted me to pat the top of my head, but there you go. I did it.
You just did what she said anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just haven't seen her in chat in a while, so she made one request. I said, okay, I'll let that one slide.
She said she likes guppies. I finally sent her some mutt guppies so she can start her mosh pit in her 90-gallon with the goldfish.
That's exciting. I didn't know that you could do guppies and goldfish together, but I guess are guppies okay with cooler water, or
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, like to an extent. Like they're all right water in the in like the mid to high 60s and all that.
Well,
they may not breed super fast.
They
are. They've been through they've seen some stuff.
They're fine. Yeah. I am not a guppy expert. So.
Well, guppies are just dumb little fish that can be pretty if you do line breeding and stuff. So
yeah. Well, now I can start line breeding. So there you go. So we had a topic.
Yep, and the topic was giant ass plants that start off cute and adorable, and you're like, I can put that in my 10-gallon, and then they overtake a 90-gallon.
Which is my problem. I had swords that are so big they would not fit in a 90-gallon, and these started as little tissue culture swords from Steven that were that big. And even with trimming, and I trim them a lot. Steven, you want to show that picture I sent you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the best picture, but this is
crazy
a red
because
twist.
like if y'all know how small a tissue culture cup is,
Yep.
like maybe that big, and then there were 5 of those swords in that cup. They're really
Yeah, because like the cups are big, but the plants in the cups, the plants are really small in the cups. So you start off
yeah.
that small, and then Steven's going to show how big they actually got.
And I've trimmed it many times. Many, many times.
I feel like the more you trim it, the more
I know.
aggressive it gets.
Yeah, it's just too much. It had to go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You
So
also took this photo in reverse perspective. Like if you had caught a fish and you were holding up a fish you caught, you would
And
have
hold it
held it
next to
out
yourself,
towards
but
the
yeah.
camera.
but you have to
Like,
look at the tip of my thumb. So like
yeah.
think about the tip of my thumb against that
Yeah. So that's
sword.
like 20 thumbs put on top of each other, like
Yeah,
that tall. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like 3 feet long. It's enormous.
Yep.
It's bigger than Fat Kitty. I
Fat
tried
Kitty
to
does
take
not
a
like
picture
anything
with
bigger
Fat
than him.
Kitty for scale, but he was not having it. So I couldn't fit it in a Ziploc bag. I had to put it in a trash bag. So it's in a trash bag in my fridge
And why is it in
And
your fridge?
because I'm gonna give it away.
Yep.
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now.
give it away. And if you have like 10-gallon, 20-gallon tanks, this is not the plant for
Don't
you.
be a jerk and enter. Don't
Yeah,
just
so if
say,
you have a
"Oh my
nano
God,
banner tank, do
free
not ask
plants."
for
Don't just go like, "Oh my God, free plants! I love free plants." Like this is not for you. If you have a 90-gallon or less, it's not for you. You need to have, let's say, a 180 or more.
Or no plans to have any other plants,
Yeah.
like even close to
It's
it.
too big for a 40 breeder. It's too big for a 55. It's
Oh yeah,
too big for a
55. It would
75. If you have a 90 and you want one plant to take up 1/3 of the tank,
you can
it's
have an
still kind of too
island,
big.
then a whole bunch of small epiphytes surrounding it.
It's still kind of too big. So don't be like, "Oh my God, I love free plants," because this is too much. That said, whoever wins it will also get a giant ass bag of crypts. So
Copper Bean has hornwort in his tank and it's all melting. Did you plant the hornwort into the substrate by any chance? Because if so, yes, it will melt. And hornwort itself has a tendency to melt just out of the blue. It'll just decide to shed all of its needles, and yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
really the best plant to keep
it's kind
unless
of
you're
a
in a
fun
pond
plant.
or a breeding situation.
I mean, for a plant that everyone says is like a super easy thing that everyone can grow for breeding.
It is super easy, but then once in a while it decides to turn. I don't know what it does. It just
Like if you have a
gets
big
depressed or
temperature
something, and then
change, if you have a big temperature change, or like, I mean, that's the big one I can think about.
yeah,
Or,
but hornwort will die just out of the blue too, like without
Yeah.
anything changing. So you want to substitute with guppy grass or stuff like Pogostemon octopus, stuff like that, which they grow at fairly the same speed, but they don't melt. So, or Kabamba or Limnophila. Yep.
Rico says, "OMG, I love free Californian plants." Well,
Rico, do you
Rico,
have a big
you
tank
know
for this?
what? If you enter and win this plant, you have to set up a 200-gallon tank, and we will hold you to it. We will hold your ass.
I mean,
to
it might fit in that the tank that he has on the left side of the screen. I forgot how big it is.
This
But,
is 75.
I mean, if he takes all the plants out of it.
Yeah, like you had to really make
Yeah, just move all those stems to the
Dedicate.
side and then put the sword in the center.
June asks if I sell plants. I don't. I just give them away. And I only give them away as the spirit moves me. and all at once to someone. I don't give them away in small quantities. Like all of a sudden, bam, you have a ton of
She'll
plants.
give you like a gallon Ziploc bag or large. She'll give you a trash bag full of stuff.
No,
Yeah,
like,
the
oh my
last
God,
recipient
this is trash.
was Nathan,
Yeah.
right? Nathan Hovey.
Yep.
I know because he won some plants from me and I just sent him all of them.
Yep. And also, good luck identifying them. They're all clumped together. There's no labeling.
In this
But-
case, there are just two kinds of crypts in a bag.
Hmm.
And then the giant ass sword. There's two bags of crypts. And then the giant ass sword. So Nancy asks, can the giant ass plant grow in a tub pond?
Yeah.
Yes, it can, but it's too cold out. It's not the time. If you had one in your house, it would
It's a
do
bit
fine.
tropical.
They will go immersed.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have a
They
humid
want-
enough environment, they'll also.
Yeah, they
do
want to
immersed.
be immersed. So you would start it underground and they would eventually start sending
What would
the water.
Would the sword look terrible immersed though? Like, don't they just get the regular green,
Most
like
of them do,
medallion
yeah.
shaped
They don't look
leaves
as
on
good.
them?
Most of them look the same
Yeah.
as like an Amazon sword, but some of them
Yeah.
have unique leaf shapes at least. So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
I'm with Zen here. I will, however, complain about free plants. I can't do it anymore. It gives me anxiety to throw them away. I know. Hence, my membership perk of this channel is free plants. Even if it's like
yeah.
weeds, I can't throw away the
Yeah, I can't throw
hydrophytes.
them away, and I haven't gotten home yet, so I have them floating in my dorm tank, and I'm hoping that they survive until the next time I get home. Because the dorm tank is really low tech. The light's like a barely on light, so hopefully they survive by the time I get home. I have the rarer plants closer to the light, so
And Scotty was saying, what if we keep the crypts and take the biggie,
No.
the big sword to
No.
the local club?
No, Scotty.
no one's gonna bid for it because
No, Scotty,
Well,
you're
maybe they might,
forbidden
but
from
no.
entering this
Yeah.
giveaway unless you play for someone else because I know you don't have a tank big enough because you live in a tiny apartment and you're moving. So you don't. This is your greediness. You're like, oh my god, free plants, free plants. No, do not do that. Don't be greedy. This is not for you.
Because then the
not
club,
for you.
whoever at the club takes it, they probably also won't know like this
what to do
plant
with it,
is.
it'll end up dying somewhere.
Yeah, they're gonna get sick of it, and yeah.
If you win, Scotty, I will not send it to you, or I will send you something horrible that you don't want, like a ball of cat.
Isn't Scotty allergic to cats or dogs? One of the two.
There you go.
Even better.
Something.
Even
Even better.
It's a ball of big kitty fur.
Oh, that's nice, June. She said, "I'm Stephen P. You're the only membership my son approves of."
So, D asked me
Oh my God, Scotty. You're killing me in a pot.
A pot that's like this big, maybe.
Scotty,
That's just
I'm gonna send you a pot of cat hair if you enter and win. Just a pot of cat hair.
And no,
Yeah,
Darlene
and
can't be divided. It's
No,
one plant.
swords. They reproduce with shoots of little babies, in which it'll totally do that.
No, this one is reproduced with many babies, all of which I have thrown away.
So what's
I
the
have no
hashtag?
problem. I have
for
Oh
no
this
problem
giveaway?
throwing out plants.
Hashtag no Scotty.
No Scotty. I like it.
Hashtag no Scotty. That's
No
mean, but
Scotty.
it's not my giveaway, so I will.
The hashtag is always Fat Kitty.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
That's
that.
better.
It is always Fat Kitty. And Dee Dee, yes, some of these were from Geek Boy, but a lot of them are ones I had. So
All right, hashtag Fat Kitty.
don't enter for yourself if you have a small tank. Because I will know and I will send you cat hair instead.
Yeah, Kelly knows what size tanks you have and how many fish you have. She knows all of it. So
I know.
Mhm.
I have
Fat
ways
Kitty
of
keeps track of
knowing.
it for her.
That's right. And I have a lot of cat hair.
Thanks for the member milestones, Zen and Oinky.
Aww.
22 and
Oinky.
21 months. Yeah,
Praying for-
so it is hashtag Fat Kitty.
Hashtag Fat Kitty. Playing for June is a good idea. June has a very big tank. Just
Mhm.
saying. Just
And
saying.
the sword, once it's nice and rooted, there's no Oscar. Even if they work together, I don't think they could uproot the sword.
I don't think
I mean,
so.
you have to put all of your effort into it, and I'm pretty sure a child is stronger than an Oscar.
It was hard for me to pull. Like it took me some time because you can't yank it up fast.
Otherwise, all the leaves will just come out, and then the root structure is still left in there. So, yep.
Dee Dee, do you want a sword that big? I don't think you do. I mean, I can't tell you to live your life. But, I mean, if you use CO2, I don't recommend the sword.
Jenna, I approve of what your plan is. Just enter for Scotty so he gets cat hair.
Oh, nice. Everyone with cats just send Scotty cat hair.
Just send him cat hair. Just a wad of cat hair.
He yells, I am allergic.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Scotty.
Monkey's got an assortment of tall tanks.
You also need to be very deep front to
Deep
back.
and wide, yeah.
Yeah.
They need to spread their wings.
Let's just say, I think that you need a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot tank at minimum.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Zen, yep. She always plays, but even if I don't need it, but I can't risk anything. Yeah.
Dee Dee says she has the 125. Dee Dee, if you have CO2 in that tank, I'm going to say you're going to regret the sword. However,
if you like to give away plants, then you can have lots of baby swords to give away.
You can always give it to someone later, but I think you would regret it.
Let's see. Dee Dee, if you entered, I don't believe I have the power to remove you. List. Yeah.
You can play for someone else.
Yeah, play for somebody.
Yeah, just play for someone else. Oh, Mexicali Fishkeeper says, I guess the 300 will work. Yeah. That would be perfect. That would be perfect. Yeah, if you have CO2 in there, Dee Dee, you're going to regret it. Because it's just not quite big enough. It's just not quite big enough.
Now, if it started off small, for example, Mike was showing some of his tanks one night. He has one of those Sukarno swords that has been sitting in a sand tank, no CO2 injection for quite a long time, looking sad because it, doesn't have the nutrients to grow.
It's just that this is already big.
Yeah, it's already established itself and looks like it's got a
Which
bunch
also
of
good luck planting an already established sword, because getting all those roots in the substrate the first try is going to be a nightmare.
Does Geek Boy want this sword?
No, I will say no for him, even if he says yes. I do not want him to ruin his beautiful tank with this.
No, I don't think. I mean, this sword is a curse, people. It's a curse.
Kelly's getting rid of a problem here. She's not doing this to spread the love. She's trying to get rid of something she wants to get rid of.
A lot of people are like, oh my God, free plants. I want every plant. No, most people don't want this. If you have a 300-gallon tank, okay. I get that. But this is a curse. Oh, Geek Boy is playing for June. Perfect.
So is this the wheel of you lose or wheel of you win?
Wheel of you lose.
Do you lose even if you win?
For Scotty, so he might get cat
hair.
Yeah. I feel like even if you win, you lose, because this sword is a curse.
So if you lose, you win, and you win, you lose.
It's true. Unless you have a really, really big tank. You don't want this thing.
Let's see. Are we doing elimination?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a lot of people, so we can spin and spin and
Yeah.
spin.
Okay, we'll do that. Cause yeah, I just have to by 5-ish. I gotta jump back off because of work. So let me crank up the wheel volume here.
By the way,
And give
is Austin going tonight?
I don't he has not gone in
He's
quite a
not gone
long
in a
time.
while. I like
I
to
know.
shout him out always at the end.
Yeah.
Scotty is going tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But
He's
he
going
usually
to
likes to have a little dinner break before he starts.
So he'll be going in about an hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. We got Craig is still streaming, Melvin's streaming, and Corvus is streaming. So there are options after we end if they're still going.
There's options.
All right, I'm gonna refresh one more time. And then yep, we got 19 entries.
And then
Here
adjust
we
the wheel
go.
volume again. Don't forget to adjust the wheel volume.
Renee D. Queer.
Sorry, Renee.
Congratulations, you don't get a problem.
Congratulations, you escaped the curse.
How was the volume on that?
It's a little quiet, but I don't
Yeah.
know what it sounds like to the people not on the stream. Oh, that's better.
Larry D's Chili Headache.
Sorry, Larry.
Escape the curse. Very cursed music.
Brooklyn Bell.
Pardon?
It's
What?
very cursed music.
Yep.
I like it.
Sorry, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn was playing for June.
Rico Stan.
Rico.
Nathan Hubby.
Nathan.
Elaine.
Sorry, Elaine.
Shark Fin Adventures.
Sorry, Sharkfin.
Koro Works.
Jenna, I'm not sure I remember the name of all of these. Because I when I made the songs, I have to save them, and then I look up random words and just put the name to that song. So
maybe you should outsource your naming to Jenna. Jenna is an excellent nomenclator.
I usually do that. Like when I have a longer song they release, I usually send it to our group chat and say, give a name to this piece. That's where I think Bex came up with the name for the oh my god, I can't remember the name for that song now.
Was it like a
Snowflake, the long lost love? Oh, so what was it? Kiss Under a Falling Snowflake. There we go, that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm really bad at naming songs, so I tell other people to do it.
I just know that one of them is like half-assed wheel song or something like that.
Yeah, that's because of you. But no, because of Matt. Sorry, Matt was like, "These are all half-assed." I'm like, "I'll show you half-assed." And then just put random notes.
Yeah, and we're giving away a curse.
Dee Dee's Fin Den.
Sorry, Dee Dee.
You've escaped the curse.
Like I think this one is a monster on the
Master
corner or
Supreme
something like
Forever.
that.
Oinky, you have escaped. No curse.
Geek BOI.
Sorry, Geek.
Renee says it was a great
Only
life.
Oscars.
No.
Sorry, June.
Sorry, June.
Sorry, June.
The Zen Ginger.
Ginger.
Worst birthday present ever. This store.
Well, no, best one. She didn't get it.
Scotty Aquati.
Scotty Aquati.
Scotty the Fish Freak.
and the other Scotty. All right, final four: Darlene's tanks, Mexicali Fish Keeper, Alishan, and Rosie.
I hope you all have big tanks. Really, really big tanks. We know Jorge does.
Alishan as.
Alishan.
Rosie.
Rosie. And
Darlene's tanks.
sorry, Darlene. Mexicali. No, was it Jorge the one who
Jorge.
said that he has a 300 or something?
Yeah.
So
That sounds just about perfect then.
perfect. Awesome. Let me rec-
Yeah, that will be perfect. That will be perfect. So, Steven, do you have his address?
I don't think I do actually. So yeah, Jorge will have to email one of us.
You can email Steven. It'll get to me.
Yeah. That's
And,
Stephen P 2003 at fishfam.link.
Myrtle modding from panel.
Well
I would put the whole thing. I just don't have that Google Doc open for the whole congratulations message. So
You win in a cursed sword, but if you have a 300-gallon tank, as long as there's nothing, unless it's not like a tank of silver dollars.
yeah, I haven't deleted anything that's vegetative. So yeah.
No. All right. Well, Cora said Kelly, you should go on stream with Max Kelly when he receives and escapes the
And
plants.
just laugh at his misery of the big sword.
Sure. It's in a trash bag. It's huge. So yeah, have fun with that.
Rico giving last sand dune on the left.
Last sand
dune on the left. Oh, it's going to Arizona. Well, it's not as hot there now, so it's not.
Yeah,
quite
it should be all right.
That's good.
This is a good window of time right now for shipping.
Good. Yeah.
Any later than this, though, it'll start getting slower because of the
Christmas
holiday packages. Yeah.
Well, and then any later than this, it's cold up north.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
But no, this is a good time to send it out. And as long as you don't have a tank of silver dollars, a 300-gallon is appropriate for this cursed plant. So enjoy.
All right. Well, Scotty says he's going live in a few minutes. He needs 3 minutes, but I got to get back to work. So
yeah,
I will just go ahead and say thank you to our mods and our chatters and super chatters, members, lurkers, and replay crew. Appreciate all y'all.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully this will look a little better, but maybe not quite yet.
It'll start growing in, I'm sure.
Yep.
Takes time.
At least a Marcellea will be planted down. So.
Well, one thing at a time. So
Bye.
I'll do that last. Bye, everyone.